Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another one. And what I'm looking at is a beer from Beard Brewing Company out of Stonington, Connecticut. This is Riff Double IPA, clocking in at 8.8% alcohol by volume. I've never had a beer from Beard Brewing Company. Like I said, they're out of Connecticut. This beer is courtesy of Brandon and Trish from Craft Beer Pours and Keep Sippin'. So really appreciate it, guys. I will post links to their channels in the description below. So definitely go check them out if you're into great beer reviews and other fun stuff. Okay, a little bit about this beer. Basically, it says that this beer features juicy notes of pineapple, passion fruit, and mango, married with the more traditional character of pine and grapefruit pith. So it almost sounds kind of more, it sounds like a cross between a West Coast and a New England style. This double IPA showcases Simcoe, Atinum, and Falconer's Flight hops, a combination that is sure to please. Keep cold and drink fresh. Well, this beer is just over a month old, so I would say that's pretty fresh for this style of beer. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it and see what we're working with. I've been very pleased with all of the New England IPAs that Brandon and Trish have sent me so far, so I have very high hopes for this one. I will say, though, right off the bat, just from the pour, definitely not as hazy. It is somewhat hazy, and it looks more hazy on the camera than it actually is here. It's a very light haze. I can actually see through it when I hold it up to the light. So a lot less hazy than the other beers that I've had recently. They had about a half finger's worth of a frothy white head. The aroma, a little bit of tropical fruit, and I'm also getting that grapefruit. Not so much piney, but definitely some grapefruit on the aroma. Picking up on some of the malt as well. Some nice bread notes. A little bit of mango and pineapple in there as well. I'm not getting any passion fruit though. But definitely the mango pineapple combo that you typically get with probably 90% of your New England style IPAs. This is not listed as a New England IPA, it just says double IPA, but it's more along the lines of a New England than a West Coast just from the aroma, even though there is a little bit of that grapefruit pith or that grapefruit citrus note on the nose. It's still got more of the tropical fruit action going on. So it smells like a winner. Without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers, guys. Okay, a little bit of that tropical fruit action coming right at you with the pineapple and the mango, more so actually on the mango than the pineapple. So swap that. The breadiness in the middle of the sip is very nice and nice. Wheat bread notes, very bready, in fact, and then a little bit of bitterness on the finish. This is more of a West Coast finish for an IPA than with your traditional New England IPA because it does have a little bit more bitterness on the back end. There is a touch of grapefruit, but the tropical fruit comes through a little bit more, and that bready center really kind of rounds it out. It's got some nice malt character in the middle of the sip. I will say, even though this beer it's not classified as a West Coast or a New England, it says they kind of utilize hops from both styles, and it's kind of like a hybrid beer in that sense. I will say it's leaning more towards the New England style with the tropical fruit notes. Um, Although it looks more like a West Coast because it's not as hazy. It's a lot clearer than most New England IPAs that I've had. The body of this is relatively light for 8.8%. I would never in a million years guess that it was that strong. Let me make sure I'm reading that right. Yeah, 8.8%. Absolutely not getting that. this is another winner. My first ever beer from Beard Brewing Company, and I got to say that I'm very pleased. If you live in Connecticut or an area where you can find Beard Brewing Company beers, they're definitely worth checking out just based off of my experience from this beer. I really like this. I love this IPA. I love the cross between the West Coast and the New England style. It's fruity, but it's not super in your face with the tropical fruit notes. So if you're not into the New England IPAs and you like more of the West Coast IPAs, this might be a good compromise to kind of get the best of both worlds. Likewise, if you're a West Coast or a New England IPA drinker, you might like this because it doesn't have a lot of the bitterness that the West Coast IPAs have, but it does have some of the grapefruit and a little bit more bitterness than you get with just a standard New England IPA. So it's a good crossover. It's a good hybrid. And it's just super fresh as well and just bursting with a ton of hop complexity and hop character. It's a 90. Gosh. I'm just going to go right down the middle with this one. It's a 95 out of 100, a solid A. I highly recommend it, whether you like West Coast style IPAs or if you're more into the New England style. I don't think you can really go wrong with this because it kind of takes the best of both worlds without too much of anything. Um, and the alcohol is masked exceptionally well. The body with this for 8.8% is relatively light, so you got to be careful because you could get carried away with this. It definitely doesn't taste like an 8.8%er, and it's so crisp and refreshing that you could just down this bad boy really quickly, and you probably want to lie down for a bit because 8.8% is definitely getting up there, and this is a 16-ounce can. So 95 out of 100 for the Riff Double IPA from Beard Brewing Company out of Stonington, Connecticut. Thanks again to Brandon and Trish for sending me this beer, along with all of the beers that they've sent me. This is the last one, unfortunately, but another enjoyable brew for sure. So, once again, you can check out Brandon and Trish in the description below. Also, I will put a clicking their icons right here, so you can click them directly if you want to do it that way and check them out. If you're into beer reviews and all that good stuff, you definitely would enjoy their channels. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Thanks again for watching. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day, and until next time, everybody, cheers.